I'm gonna have to pause this because even though it looks great, this is gonna take me bloody forever. But it is so fucking cool. I can't wait to show you spot. Future George jumping in here. This is a new camera. I'm not used to using this camera. I might have mucked up some of the settings and I've been struggling to get B-roll with it, but I'm learning. So bear with me please for these next couple of videos as I'm learning and locking it in. Enjoy this video of my hobby journey. This is so fucking cool, by the way. This video concept's so cool. Not gonna lie, nicked it a little bit off Yon's Battle, but woo, it's cool to see it all different. My name is BeardedFist. Welcome in. Grab yourself a cuppa. Unfortunately, it's too hot in the UK. This is a can of tango. The drinks are available. I feel like I'm betraying my heritage, to be fair. Welcome in. Grab yourself a cuppa. Let's chat Warhammer. As I said before, I'll be honest, I kind of nicked this video idea from Eons of Battle, as I'm, again, quite busy this month. Starting from my own business. Well done me. Woo! And I'm also trying out a new camera, so we'll see what the video quality ends up coming out like. Anyways, I wanted to show you so far all of the Warhammer I have painted and talk through it. And a little bit about my journey through Warhammer. It all started when I was a lot younger, but then I came out the hobby. I'm not going to get into that too much. I've sort of covered that in a previous video. And then when I started my previous job, before I started working for myself, I was in the Warhammer shop with my best friend, talking through some bits and pieces. And I was like, ooh, look at these. These weren't in Warhammer when I started. Votann. These are the first models I painted properly since I got back in the hobby. Now, properly's a word. I can actually see under some of these grey primer, and I don't even know if it's primer. It might actually just be grey plastic from where I haven't primed it properly. There are some aspects of these I do like. The screens are okay, the buttons are okay. I do actually quite like the purple. It just turned out to be a bit of a bitch to paint. But the power weapons, the lack of highlights, I didn't even run the bases, even though these are technically finished models. It just shows first models. But at the time I was collecting Votann and I was powering through, so I then painted this guy. He is the Ironheart Champion, I believe is the name. Again, finished model, didn't even rim it, and I love rimming. And again, there's literally parts of bare plastic on this model, but at the time I was extremely proud of it. I'd never painted anything for years. I'd never really painted a model to completion before, and again, there's no highlights, but there's parts of this that I like. I started to bring yellow into my miniatures, the purple, and I found probably one of my favourite metallics of all time in the Rune Brass. That nice, warm, very warm gold. But he was an alright tempt. At this point, I sort of was trying to learn how to play Warhammer, let me pile of shame build up, and that was around about the time we started to get rumours of 10, which is wild, really. It feels so long ago, but that was about the time we started getting rumours of 10. Now, when we started getting rumours of 10th, at the time, my brother is still very much into Warhammer, and he was at the time. He was telling us everything that was going to be in the box. And I was a bit like, oh, Space Marines, Tyranids. But my wife was starting to show some interest in Warhammer. So we picked up the 10th edition box. I'll probably put some B-roll in the amount of unpainted Tyranids that are behind us, because we've got nigh on a full 2,000 point army. But that was when I picked up Leviathan. Straight away, I fancied tackling this Dreadnought. There was something about the Dreadnought, because last time I had a Dreadnought, it was a box Dread. There was something about this Dreadnought that just captured my imagination. I was like, wow, this thing is cool as fuck. It's heavy, it's sick. Big stompy robot with big laser guns as arms. What more could you want? And this is where I first started dabbling in my own Imperial Fist paint scheme with the purple right arm. Interestingly, I knew I hated applying contrast paints on big flat surfaces. Didn't work for some of the first Votann I tried, and I stripped, and I knew it wasn't going to work for this. So that was when I picked up my first airbrush, and that was the airbrush I got off AliExpress. It was about £12, a little compressor built in. It was fantastic, and I airbrushed this. Also did my first ever attempt at freehanding. Again, went awful. Part where I'm sure, yeah, there's just spill over there. Bits I haven't painted here. It's no highlights. It's very amateur. It looks okay. I don't regret painting this miniature the way I did, and at the time I was so happy with it. I might actually strip the Redemptor, but I'll strip the Redemptor Dreadnought and paint the new scheme actually. But yeah, so that was Leviathan, picked them up, painted them. Then doing Imperial Fists, I knew I wanted to move into more heavy. Found these on Facebook Marketplace for like £15. Straight away, painted them, mould lines everywhere. I didn't build them, but there's mould lines everywhere. I didn't bother taking them off. I did the weathering that I did, which was sponging and dry brushing lead belcher. Again, that did sort of add highlights, it adds that weathered look, and at the time, I was quite happy with it. Looking back now, you can see the yellow and the contrast paint I used. There's no highlights. There is just places where I've over dry brushed the lead belcher, and it just literally is just lead belcher on top of the paint job. But yeah, so these were my first set of heavy interceptors. I then moved on to Eliminators. Space Marines with sniper rifles, I thought was cool as fuck. I airbrushed them, started painting them, and I was like, oh, I can do a purple cloak. This effect did actually turn out pretty cool. I ended up painting the contrast paint over, purple contrast paint over the top of the cloaks. And it actually left it with like a shimmery browny purple leather, which looked alright to be fair. But again, there's no highlights, no nothing, and Eliminators turned out like a shite. that was that. And this is where we started to sort of get the meat and bones of my army. Painted, potentially the model I've used the most, potentially my favourite model that I own, weirdly, even though it's ancient and not painted very well. The 2 guns, armour's on, back to front on one of them. But this Land Raider, we've had so much fun together. This is actually one of the world's first combat Land Raiders. It is overperformed in combat ridiculously. It's killed so many things in combat. It's killed an Eversaw assassin in one shot in combat. It killed, it took a couple of wounds off a knight the other day in combat. This was my first foray into painting. I know that was big, but this is big model, big chunky model, and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun process. It took a little while. It's just covered in null oil. There's no highlights. It's not even sealed, to be fair. I think if I rubbed in one place long enough, the paint will come off. But I love this model. I still do. I think the Land Raider is so fucking cool. I would love for GW to refresh the Land Raider in any capacity, or the Rhino. It's just something about the tracks. Proper soft spot. This model, never doing a yellow power weapon ever again. Hated it, didn't like the look of it, didn't work very well. The wet blending just hasn't achieved the effect I wanted. But it's quite cool. I've probably got one of the only purple Librarian Terminators out there that I've seen. The yellow as well on the, like the runes and stuff, worked alright, worked okay. Could have went better, but it worked alright, it looked alright. After that point, after I was been painting Space Marines for a while. There is a model here I can't talk about, but I did a painted a Danny DeVito. First video on my channel is the world's first Danny DeVito grot. That's on there if you want to go have a look. First video. But after that, in between painting Space Marines, and we'll come to these, I entered into the Travelling Man Painttober. That'd been last year now. Converting was allowed, which was lucky because they left half the miniature out. Travelling Man were lovely about it, to be fair. No hate to them. So I used some stone, I used a Stormcast, and I made like a Tyrannid Stormcasty thing. And this was my first attempt, and probably last, well, it won't be my last, but last for a while, for like a non-metallic-y, metal-y, highlighty thing. I'll let the B-roll speak for itself. It doesn't look good, but it was one of the first times I ever experimented properly with highlights and properly with like making glazes out of paints. I had 4 paints to use and I had to make glazes out of them and loads of different bits and pieces. And I do feel this was an important step on my painting journey. Yeah, and I learned a lot by doing it. Got no light in the background now. Class. See if that lights up. I don't think it's going to light up, but that was annoying. Sorry about that. Then after that, I was listening to the last book in the Avenging Sun series and Votan Minute. So I came back to me Votan, came up with a new paint scheme. I quite like it, to be fair. It's a clean white. The idea of this paint scheme was very much to be quick. So I managed to knock out the whole squad in less than 10 hours. So that was less than an hour a model. It's basically all using contrast paints, bar a few technical paints and a few highlights. Nothing special, just a few highlights. But these guys were also my first foray into using decals. So I put decals on each one of these, and by looking at them now, that's just reminded us, I had a paint explode on me, a UV paint, and it's all over these, so they're covered in alien goo, blood, whatever. But yeah, this is a scheme I do intend to revisit eventually. It was just nice, refresh to get some Votan out the way, and it's quite a contrast to the other guys. That then brought me on to, in my hobby journey, Christmas. October, before Christmas. I didn't know I was getting this, but my dad bought me the Battle Force box for Christmas. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this? Never painted knights, intimidating. But I saw a video by Peter Wargamer, and there's plenty of videos, by the way, on the painting of these in my previous videos. And I saw this Extreme Metallic by AK. Now you can shoot through the airbrush. And I thought, pretty fucking sick, actually, some of those colours. So what I did was, I got these and I devised a scheme. Again, realistically, to get these models to this point, it was probably less than 2 hours a model, which for a knight army, pretty impressive. It is a lot of sponging, a lot of airbrushing, a lot of paint and trim, a lot. They turned out really well, and I'm extremely happy with how these turned out. They are technically matte sealed. I could do no more on them forever, really. I'm waiting for the codex to come out, and I'm going to review the army from there. They've just down to all the points, and they are a little bit less interesting to me now, unfortunately. But I might come back, I'll review. And it is pretty sick having a full army of Stormy robots just kicking about in the hobby cupboard that I could walk out and play at any time. And then this guy in this army is... Oh! That isn't stuck on because he doesn't fit me cabinet if this is glued on. This guy is potentially one of the models that I'm most proud of in the army. In fact, it is. I had to extend the pistons on the leg and extend the soft seals so that this model would work and pose the way it did. Very much last minute, but I did also adapt the rocks on the base by using rocks out of my own garden to make it so his foot would fit where it is and not look stupid. So yeah, this is potentially one of my most proud models. They are on the same base as my Imperial Fist, and that is deliberate. I like the idea of my Imperial armies all fighting on the same planet together, as if the fists are there and they're being supported. Now this brings us on to the most recent times of me hobbying. This guy is still potentially the most proud of any model I've ever been. This guy was the guy where I devised a scheme for the new Imperial Fists. This involves less time actually than that scheme, but comes out with a really effective result. There's a video on this guy on my channel. I'll put a card up if I remember. But this, essentially, is what my Imperial Fist is going to look like moving forward most of the time. I try to put most of the effective hours into making the yellow look good, and the weathering just adds to that. The blue on the weapons and the tubes and stuff, again, just contrast and add to that nice Imperial Fist look. Still so happy with this guy. And this was, to be fair, where I've started highlighting properly. So all the seals have a highlight, all the leather, even though it'd be difficult to see, is all highlighters. And it just, yeah, really happy with it. And finally, these are the most recent models that I finished. These are only finished models. There's tons of models that are technically battle ready, but nowhere near what I'd call finished. Have these Terminators. Not very happy with these. What happened was I dry brushed them, and when I dry brushed them, I ended up letting the paint dry too much on the dry palette, and it turned too chalky and ended up getting brushed. And then to add on, I painted the little servos on the back, and they aren't molded great. Probably the weakest part of the whole Terminator model, and it made it really difficult to do. So these guys, the chaplain and this squad here, even though once they're fully done, I'm not too upset with them. They're potentially, I wasn't very happy with them, but I know where I went wrong. I've corrected it, and I'm currently in the process of painting Tor Garradon and some Blade Guard vets. I know that. And I've corrected it on there. Obviously, I'm not going to get into specifics of how I painted specific things in this video, but I just wanted to take you through my hobby journey and put it all out in front of us, because again, this looks fucking sick. It might not be much compared to some people in terms of what they can put on a table. I think there's about 1,500 points of Space Marines, like 200 something points of Votan or something. A Stormcast, not even a 2,000 point army of Knights anymore. But looking from here to here to here to here, I can truly see how far I've come as a painter, and I think that's important for all of us. You need to spend that time, have a look at the models you painted, have a look at the journey you went on. I mean, if I look at this and compare it to this is 2 years difference, which in the grand scheme of this hobby, which you're probably going to be in for the most of your life, is nothing. So imagine this in 2 years compared to whatever model you're going to be painting. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I really hope you're enjoying the content. I'm loving making it. It's been a while since I've actually properly made content. Almost 100 subscribers, which is fucking mental to me. I thought this was going to be like something I just chuck out in the ether and no one would ever see. Which, yeah, so thank you for almost 100 subscribers. Please tell me in the comments, what do you have painted? What was your first miniature like compared to your most recent one? Let me know. If you're just starting your journey and your miniatures like this, absolutely fine. Thank you everyone. Make sure to like, comment, potentially hit that subscribe, and let's continue the hobby together. You're going to say bye-bye to the people? You're going to say thank you for watching Dad's video? Yeah? You're going to say thank you? There you go. Sorry, Don.